Well, it's a very good question. This was supposed to be a limited intervention to defend civilians from Gaddafi. Gaddafi is dead and gone. His regime is dead and gone. And I think the TNC's request proves exactly how dependent they were during the war and still are on the Western powers. It's quite clear now that the Western powers intervened in Libya not to protect the revolution, but to colonise the revolution. And they've succeeded in doing that, and the TNC's request for continued military help underlines that fact very clearly. Well, I think the problem is this, that revolutions are organic events. They're something that arise from within the society, and if they don't continue in that way, unless they continue to express the deeply held desires of people who've been denied self-determination for many, many years, then they can't succeed. And I believe that the events in Libya show that the revolution, which started off as a genuine organic expression of the Libyan people's desire, was taken over by the West, has now got a TNC leadership which is wholly dependent militarily, economically, politically on the West, and that what is being driven through in Libya is a government which in the end of the day won't be in the interests of most Libyan people. Well, I think the difficulty is that what it's likely to become a haven for is the Western powers. It's likely to become a home for their transnational corporations. It's likely to become a base for their military operations in North Africa. So the people who have been using this kind of language about protecting the world from terrorism are the people who've conducted the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they are now the people who have a foothold in Libya, and that will be a situation which destabilises the entire Middle East. To have invited those people in, to have given them a foothold in the whole process of the Arab revolutions, to give them a new base for operations in the area, will undoubtedly destabilise the area and will undoubtedly produce further animosity on the parts of the people in the region. Well, I don't really consider the whole question of people who live in predominantly Islamic countries saying that they're going to create regimes which are sympathetic to the religion of the most of the people in the country as a big obstacle. That's not the issue. Religion isn't the issue. Politics is the issue, and in this sense, it's not a question of whether or not the Libyan government will have a broadly Islamic sympathies. The question is, will it have sympathy with Western corporations? Will it have sympathy with NATO? Will it have sympathy with the foreign policy of the United States in the Middle East? These are the things that we should be worrying about. The question of its religious hue is as irrelevant as the question: does the British government have broadly Christian sympathies, or does the American government have broadly Christian sympathies? Well, whether or not you think they should do, whether or not you think there should be a complete separation between church and state, it's not a very surprising thing to find that the government of a country reflects the dominant religion in the country. That shouldn't be the issue. Politics should be the issue. Well, this kind of dialogue doesn't really concern me, to be perfectly honest. There are many Muslim states around the world whose legal systems are broadly compatible with their religion. In Turkey, in Indonesia, and they are perfectly democratic societies, as democratic, if not more democratic, than many Western societies. So this isn't the issue for me. The issue for me is whether or not political power in Libya will lie in the hands and be exercised in the interests of the Libyan people, as it had a possibility of doing after the overthrow of the Gaddafi regime, or whether or not political power will be in the hands of corrupt elites who are linked to the Western corporations, linked to the Western military, linked to the Western governments. If they are, whether or not their legal system is based on Sharia law or whether it is an entirely secular system, the truth of the matter is that the vast majority of people in the country will not be exercising control over their own destiny. It won't be a democratic society in that sense, because the wealth and the power in the society will be concentrated at the top and will be exercised in such a way that the majority of Libyan people don't benefit from it.